Fresh off of NFL Week 14, we're rolling directly into NFL Week 15. We had about 6 teams that were on bye last week. This week, we have no teams that are on bye. So we're jam-packed with a full slate of big games that we want to discuss. Lots of divisional implications, lots of playoff implications that are riding on some of these games that we'll kind of touch on as we move forward. But for those of you who do not know us, we are Statletics. We love walking through the big games each week in the NFL regular season. We really rely on our model projections and the analytics for each game, trying to discern who we think can win these games and why. So at the end of the day, we're just a couple dudes that love talking balls. So we appreciate you guys joining us for this show. If there's a particular matchup you want to see, we have them discretized on our YouTube page, or you can see them on the YouTube slider below. So just scroll and find the game that you want to see. But before we do that, Beach, how we doing, bro?
I'm good, buddy. The playoffs are shaping up nicely. Seems like it looks like most of the spots are kind of filled. We'll have to see how the next couple weeks go, but
yeah,
I'm good. I'm ready to get into this week. Should be a good one.
I am really excited. We have a couple divisions that is just going to be a rat race for the top of the division, and then of course the wild card scene is messy, beautifully messy. So a lot of exciting teams that we're going to touch on, a lot of exciting games, more games than we usually talk about on this particular show. So let's go ahead and jump directly into it. Bills at Lions. This is potentially a Super Bowl preview here. I mean, what a beautiful game this week. Bills coming off of a really, really tough loss. Beautiful game to watch. That was absolutely insane. The Bills versus the Rams last week. That was one of the, if not the most fun games this year that we've seen out of the Bills and the Rams last week. So coming off of a tough loss, but immaculate performance by Josh Allen and the Bills. He had 6 total touchdowns in that game. Lions are coming off of a Thursday night game, so they had an extended mini bye, let's call it. So Lions are hosting the Bills in Detroit. Lions -2. The total is the highest on the slate by far, 54.5 points. The model has this shaped up around 23-26. So similar point spread, more in favor of the Lions by about a point compared to Vegas, and a little bit lower totaled. So we'll dive into that here. But Beach, we're both on the Lions on this game. So I want to break into that, but I'm not confident that the Lions are going to win this game. I do like this matchup for them, solely because I think they're going to try and play the same game that they played against the Packers last week. They love to command the ball on the offensive side and run the clock out, juice the game as much as they can, and try and keep the ball out of the other team's hands. And so I think that's going to be the same game plan. Will it work? I don't know. Similar to what we talked about last week with the Packers, we said it'll really come down to just who has the ball last, and that absolutely could be the case for this particular game. But, man, it seems like Josh Allen is unstoppable. So, Beach, we're both on the lines here, but, this very well could be a Bills win. And, in fact, I can also make a case where the Bills could win handily. The last 2 games out of the Lions, if you go back 2 weeks where we saw better game management, better clock management out of the Bears, Bears are winning that game at Detroit. So especially with how injury-riddled this Lions defense is, how concerning is that for you if you're the Lions here? And, obviously you took the Lions to win, but are you concerned about the injuries, or do you think they can still perform and maybe contain Josh Allen even just in the slightest?
Yeah, well, the obvious thing is to keep it out of Superman's hands, like you were saying. I mean, Josh Allen he's going to win MVP. He has to. I mean, he's the most incredible player. And the way that I feel like the Lions are good at doing that. They're good at controlling the game, like you were saying earlier, and they run the ball really efficiently with both of their backs, Sonic and Knuckles. And the Bills have been shown to be kind of a run funnel, as we talked about previously. And if the Bills continue to play that way, I think that could go in the Lions' favor, doing what they do best, run the ball, control the clock. The Rams had the ball for 17 more minutes than the Bills last game. I know it was still a close game, but they did a great job of keeping it out of Josh Allen's hands for as long as they could. So that is why I lean towards the Lions. The Lions are also at home, and they've had a really great season. So
yeah, their home record, they just find ways to win. And I mean,
They
with
do.
Dan Campbell's aggressiveness, the only way you can really bank on him, them not being able to put up plenty of points on the board is just if those fourth downs don't convert like they have been, So if there's any sort of regression to the mean in regards of those fourth down aggressive plays, then we can see the Lions falter here a little bit. But even with the Rams keeping the Bills off the field, we still saw Josh Allen, again, go full Superman mode. So,
Superman.
and when we look at the numbers here, I mean, the Lions are 4th overall in EPA per play on the offensive side of the ball, 5th overall in EPA per play allowed. The 5th overall EPA per play, they were top 3 most of the regular season, and that number's kind of slipped a little bit just due to their late performances, mostly due to injuries, so we would expect that. Bills are 1st overall in EPA per play on the offensive side of the ball. They're also 13th overall in success rate in the offense. To me, man, it's going to be a fun game, and then trying to pinpoint exactly what's going to happen in this is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But one thing I do know for sure is that the Lions are going to have a tough time stopping Josh Allen because there's so many different people that they distribute the ball to in the passing game. Their running backs are phenomenal. Had a great year for James Cook. Ray Davis has really come onto the scene. And even Ty Johnson is really getting into the mix, not to even mention Josh Allen's legs. So really unpredictable, especially for a defense that has a lot of new faces, that doesn't really see the field a lot. So this game is going to really come down to the Lions offense and if they can capitalize against this Bills defense, which just got tore up last week. So I think that's why I'm still confident in the Lions, is because that defense is still susceptible to being carved up, especially in the running game. I know one thing that we were talking about before the show was Buffalo's rushing defense is not the greatest. They give up 140 yards per game on the ground. So I do like Sonic and Knuckles to be able to carve them up here. I like what the model has to say about this game. I think the Lions win in a close one.
Give me a last-second field goal, just like last week.
Okay. I mean, it very well could be.
It could.
It's got that type of that feel to it, and I think everybody's going to be tuning into that particular game. So I'm so really excited for it. I'll be watching it. So.